Couldn't we just grow old together gracefully?
Don't stop. Just think how good you'll feel.
Give me strength.
It's in the soap dish.
Something called Shield is in the soap dish.
Shield is the Give Me Strength deodorant soap. Extra strength, extra protection.
Well, I get it. It's a shield of deodorant protection.
I knew you'd get it. That's why I got it.
Sure pays to exercise.
Give me strength.
Watch Chip Sunday at 7 p.m.
For the winner. The sea, the sun, the sand.
Check.
If Bill lives in Bighorn, Wyoming.
Howdy.
And Stan lives in Rockland, Maine.
Hey there.
And Jane lives in Calhoun, Georgia.
Charmed, I'm sure.
How much will it cost Fred to call all of them? Just $10 an hour.
Sounds good. AT&T's new Reach Out America plan lets you call anywhere in the U.S. for $10 an hour per month. Additional hours are even less. Now you know just how far your money goes. That must be Fred. AT&T, the more you hear, the better we sound.
Coffee, tea, or
Pringles! I got the fever for the flavor of a Pringles.
the fever for the flavor of a Pringle?
Love that deep fried taste.
And Pringles crispy crunch.
It's a great chip now.
We love that crunch. We've got the fever for the flavor of a Pringles.
Love that deep fried taste. Love that crisp, deep crunch.
You'll get the fever for the flavor of a Pringles.
Regular, light, or ripple? I'm flabbergasted.
That's what Pat Leary said when she found out how much milk is in just one slice of Kraft Singles.
Tell me when.
When?
Some imitation slices stop there, but Kraft puts 5 full ounces of milk in.
Slice?
Wow. Tell me about the taste.
It's good.
Kraft Singles. 5 ounces of milk in every delicious slice.
The bottom line is I would buy Kraft Singles.
Coolers are very big with some people, but at times they're just too heavy, and you get a burning desire for a taste like 7-Up. Just imagine, light, crisp, clean. If you're dying for refreshment, don't sweat it. Drop everything. Rethink your drink.
I can't believe it.
See for yourself. It's for real.
Don't you feel good about 7-Up?
Let's all be there this fall and meet Jason Bateman, a smooth-talking teenager.
Hormonal problems again?
He's got style.
Please, sir. Pop a breast milk.
And he's got flair.
Gee, he's good.
He thinks he's got it made.
I was born for this kind of work.
But what he doesn't know is that on the other side of this door, he's about to meet his match. It's Your Move, Wednesday night, starting this fall on NBC.
Hot enough to fry an egg, also hot enough to fry a dog's brain. Your dog can't perspire. To cool off, he has to pant. Even with the windows left partly open, the hot air he's breathing can cause brain damage or even death. On a hot day, be kind to your dog by leaving him at home.
JCPenney USA. This week featuring our back-to-school sale. A bright blend of classic tops for girls, sporty shirts for boys, all 20% off. Super cords for super active kids, 25% off. Save on every kid's sweater. For fun, for fashion, including the Fox, 25% off. All this and more in JCPenney USA at JCPenney now.
20 ways to eat McDonald's Chicken McNuggets for dinner.
First you pick it up, then you dip it in, then you lift it up, then you pop it down. Pick it up, dip it in, lift it up, pop it down. Bite, taste, taste, triple dipperoo. Winding up, winding down, carrying through. Back it to you, pop it to you, nibble, nibble, bite. Dip a little, dip a lot, tasty, tasty, so light. Ooh, sweet and sour, hot mustard, barbecue or honey. Chicken, 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 chicken McNugget.
It's a good time for the great taste of McDonald's.
Pick it up.
I'm not ready to go yet, okay? I'm not ready. You gotta wait. I got shit to do. I'm in the middle of something. All right? Just hold on.
Watch your mouth or don't come in here.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah, please, people, come on, we're adults here. You know what? What is the point?
Yeah, we're adults here. I got a fucking Burger King fucking thing on my head. We're all fucking adults here, guys. People in my chat, 2 words. What are they? 2 words. Let me see the chat flood. Let me see the chat flood. 2 words. Okay, next caller. Please. Let's get into the meat and potatoes, which translate in American to dick and balls.
I got flip-flops. These are my flip-flops. Yeah, I really like my flip-flops because I can put them on. Because look, watch me put them on. I can put them on all by myself. Watch me put them on. Look, are you watching? Look, these are my flip-flops.
Thanksgiving Day. I remember it clearly. It was Thanksgiving Day. I was inserting myself in somebody else's fucking business as a cash grab, and you know. This channel is harsh reality. Karen Yak se jodió la sucia vida. Amen.
This is Jonathan Lee Riches. I have cheeseburgers. I'm gonna put cheese on them. I'm gonna make sure that I have my hamburgers because I'm a big boy now and I can make the hamburgers. My mom lets me use the stove now.
And I'm just like, wow, I like receipts, and they brought receipts. Like they had evidence to back up everything they said. And I'm like, okay, well, there's got to be another side to this, right? Like this can't, no, this is too fantastic.
Yeah, because you're not going to just jump to the conclusion that there's a conspiracy amongst cops to cover up a murder. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, cops and just like soccer moms and shit. Like that's what made it even crazier. Like,
yeah, get it, Betty. Yeah,
did you have a close relationship with your mom?
Get it, Betty.
Oh, of course, I still do.
Yeah.
My older sister was kind of sad. She was more of the prissy girl. Like
that is the best shit fucking
shopping for the dresses with mommy. I was the, tomboy that liked playing with the kids.
Shout out to Cherry for just being just easily the most faithful and loyal supporter that I've ever had. That someone could have that tenacity with loyalty. And I'm really blessed to have someone like Cherry be part of this channel and in my life. So it means a lot. And yes, I named him after Mr. T and Rocky. Say, woman. Say, woman. Say, woman. Since your old man ain't got no heart, why don't you come down to my apartment tonight and I'll show you a real man. Oh my God, I'm so in love with this little dude. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up. I love you guys very, 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 very much. And we will do this again very soon, my friends. Oh, say bye. Say bye. Oh, I love you too. Give me a kiss. Oh, I love you. Bye, guys. Woo! Welcome everybody. Oh my goodness. Happy Thursday. See, I got the day right this time. Listen, full disclosure, people. I'm really hungover. I drank last night for the first time in weeks. And so I'm just kind of like struggling here. So tonight what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over the opposition for the motion of dismissal that the defense filed, but the opposition is filed by the Commonwealth, obviously. And I see everybody in chat talking about this Ted Daniels thing. I don't know what this Ted Daniels thing is, but I'll read it. I'll go over it because everybody seems to be pretty pissed off about Ted Daniels right now, right? I mean, everybody's mad at Ted Daniels. I don't know why. I haven't read it yet. Jerry dug it up for me and found it. So I'm going to go over it and I'm going to read it and let's see where we're at, folks. Let's check this out. So 25 investigates, prosecutors say taillight DNA evidence implicates Karen Read. Prosecutors this week revealed that DNA evidence implicates Karen Read. I guess this is what I'm about to read because I haven't read it yet. Prosecutors this week revealed that DNA evidence implicates Karen Read in the death of Boston police officer John O'Keefe in Canton, Massachusetts. I guess this is the smoking gun that that I've been referring to this entire time. 25 Investigates has also learned the U.S. Attorney's Office for Massachusetts has turned over findings from a federal probe that involves witnesses and law enforcement in the murder trial of Read. Read is accused of backing over her boyfriend, Boston police officer John O'Keefe in Canton, Massachusetts, and leaving him to die in January 2022 blizzard. She was charged with second-degree murder, motor vehicle manslaughter, and leaving the scene of a collision in connection with O'Keefe's death. On Wednesday, a new filing from the prosecution offered additional details. It says O'Keefe's DNA has been found on Read's broken taillight, and that testing found that tiny pieces of taillight discovered in his clothing are consistent with broken pieces from Read's taillight. Let me read that again. It says that O'Keefe's DNA, John's DNA, has been found on Read's broken taillight, and that testing found that tiny pieces of taillight discovered in his clothing are consistent with broken pieces of Read's taillight. Okay. Is this the is this the smoking gun, as it were, folks? Is that what this is? Are we talking about the broken taillight that we know was dug out of the well of the Lexus? Is this the same taillight that was found in 30 some odd pieces on 5 undocumented searches? As a result of 5 undocumented searches performed by Massachusetts State Trooper Proctor, who also has a relationship, personal relationship with the McCabe family, who also the McCabe family, who Jennifer McCabe is a member of, who had a search, who searched for Haas Long to die in the cold on 2 separate searches Yet they're trying to say it was all the same search that happened at 6 a.m. instead of at 2 something a.m. It's unbelievable. This is incredible to me. That this is supposed to be somehow some damning evidence here. The filing reads, through trace analysis and forensic testing, the Massachusetts State Police Crime Laboratory discovered the victim's DNA present on the broken taillight and microscopic pieces of red and clear apparent plastic located in the victim's clothing. Oh, so you mean the clothing that was left on the floor where without bags? I mean, I just don't understand how this is supposed to be. Literally every other piece of evidence that the defense is going to show, which it's not the defense's job to show, but they're going to show it anyway. But the evidence that the defense shows is going to prove that any evidence that the prosecution shows is not credible. There's no credibility to anything that the prosecution is going to bring to the table here. None. Okay. Comparison testing was conducted, and the results demonstrate that the microscopic pieces of red and clear plastic are consistent with the broken pieces of plastic from the defendant's right rear taillight. Reed's lawyers declined comment Thursday. Okay. Reed's lawyers claim she is being framed in a massive cover-up and that feds have been investigating the probe into O'Keefe's death. Okay. So let me kind of get into this here. So Ted Daniels, so far, people have loved Ted Daniels, and how I'm reading this right now is that of somebody who thinks that because they found DNA evidence and they go by the whole concept of DNA doesn't lie, which sure, DNA doesn't lie. If they can prove that John's DNA was on these pieces of taillight, well, sure. But I question how John's DNA got on that taillight. And I have plenty of reason to question how John's DNA got on that taillight. If I'm believing that John's DNA is on this taillight in the first place, which I have reason to question whether or not that's even true, because I've been following this case and I've been reading documents. Right? I mean, let's just be honest here. Let's just be honest. And I'm going to be fair. I'm not saying that Proctor put John's DNA on this thing. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that if the defense were to present that option to me and I'm a juror, I'm going to go, okay. I don't see why you know what I mean? I don't see any reason to doubt that. You see what I mean? Like that is the defense creating doubt. That is absolutely what that is. The defense is creating doubt and winning in doing so. What else am I supposed to think? All of a sudden, John's DNA is found on pieces of the taillight. And fragments of the taillight now are found in his clothing. When we have been talking for, I don't even know how long, about how John's clothing, there are items from his clothing that are missing. Where is John's belt? Where's John's hat? Where's John's hoodie? So, I mean, and this is also an excellent point. Kimberly McGuire. My DNA is all over my parents' cars, and I live over 3 hours away, visiting and helping out. Right. So that all automatically makes John a victim of being hit by this car. So let's talk about John's clothing, right? I love this. Because Ted Daniels, the egg on your face, you're going to need to wipe it. And I haven't even gotten done with your article yet. But if this is a smoking gun for you, I'm going to explain why you're stupid for thinking that. No injuries to John O'Keefe below the waist, right? No injuries to John O'Keefe below the waist. None at all. So, are we to believe that Plevin's Sims thing is accurate? Are we to believe that John O'Keefe got hit in the head from Karen Reed's Lexus SUV in reverse at 20 some odd miles per hour, hitting him in the head, right? That he was bent over and the car hits him in the head, right? That's what we're supposed to believe. But no, I mean, it would have hit him in some place where his clothing was, right? I'd love to know the part of his clothing where these fragments of taillight were found, and I'd love to know if that part of his body where that part of his clothing would have been located. I'd love to know if he suffered any broken bones, any broken or fractured bones, because I have a piece of taillight right here, and there's no fucking way that this piece of taillight right here would not break bones in the process of shattering, right? Because the taillight shattered, right? The taillight shattered. There was no taillight, basically. 30 some odd pieces. There's no taillight. The taillight shattered. So that means that there's no taillight, even though there's a taillight in the video where Karen Reed is backing out of John O'Keefe's driveway, right? So this didn't break any bones or fracture any bones or, you know, so all of a sudden I'm supposed to believe because the prosecution says so, right? All of a sudden I'm supposed to believe that this is damning evidence. Okay. In a massive 301-page February 15th filing, prosecutors said they soon expect to receive documents from federal authorities. Prosecutors said that on January 16th, an assistant U.S. attorney contacted prosecutors and Reed's defense team to discuss the possibility of disclosing information in the possession of the Department of Justice pursuant to federal regulations. The filing also says that in a later February 9th call, the U.S. Attorney's Office indicated it may release information to counsel for both parties subject to a stringent protective order, but offered no definitive answers or clear guidance on what materials exist, nor what will be produced pursuant to federal regulations. Produced A source says that the Norfolk District Attorney's Office and Reed's attorneys now know what the feds have, but they are prohibited from sharing these documents with the public. The February 15th filing calls Reed's claims of a cover-up misleading and disingenuous, and prosecutors say they have found no evidence of such a conspiracy. Prosecutors said they question the basis of any probe into the investigation of O'Keefe's death. I mean, well, the probe in itself is a question into your investigation. Wow. It appears the defendant is the sole source of information for the federal investigation surrounding this case, as the U.S. Attorney's Office never requested a police report, photograph, sworn grand jury testimony, witness list, third-party record, or piece of evidence from the Norfolk District Attorney's Office or investigators from the Massachusetts State Police. Reads the filing. Well, so I guess that means that the prosecution or the Norfolk County DA's office is not under investigation, right? I guess that's what that means. The fact that they never requested these things from the Norfolk County DA's office. Let me say that again. They never requested these things from the Norfolk County DA's office. Maybe they had these things. Maybe they obtained these things through their own investigation. Maybe they're not relying on the very people that they're investigating to provide them with means to prosecute them. I mean, am I crazy to think that? Cheyenne, thank you and welcome to Logic. Appreciate you. Well, are you sitting here trying to tell me that this is somehow a bad look for Josh Levy and the U.S. Attorney's Office because they didn't request from the Norfolk DA's office these certain things, these things being the never requested these things being a police report, photograph, sworn grand jury testimony, witness list, third-party record, or piece of evidence. Why, if they're investigating an investigation, now I've never investigated anything, much less an investigation, but I would assume that you're not going to go to the very people that you're investigating and ask them for certain evidence. Like maybe the DA is building towards a trial. Maybe that's what Michael Morrissey is doing here when he states, well, they never requested this, and this. What the hell? They never gave us the opportunity to cooperate. I mean, that's going to look good to a jury, I guess. But is it legal? Because I'm still thinking in terms of, well, did I miss a super chat? Hold on. Oh, I did miss a super chat. Miss Bella, thank you so much. Backup info was a lie. Article's gone. Now this. Yeah. Thank you, Miss Bella. I appreciate it. Miss Bell. 1388. Yeah, this is just hilarious to me. Because so far, the way I'm reading this article, and I want to be fair because I haven't concluded the article yet, but so far, he's just stating, Ted Daniels, or at least whoever wrote this article at Boston 25. Let me see real quick. Yeah, Ted Daniel. So, I so far, he's not really being biased, and he's not pro the prosecution. I'm just saying that reading this article, I'm not mad at Ted Daniel yet. I'm not mad at him yet. I'm reading the article, and it sounds like he's just reporting what the filing says. So, okay. Thank you, lady. Who got gifted the membership? Hold on. I don't have this pulled up. I'm possibly, hold on. I have my phone off, or at least I have the live stream off of my phone for a reason, but let me off of my phone for a reason. Bring that up. Okay, so McRamey was gifted a membership. So congrats and thank you, lady DI2. Appreciate it. And okay, need Clubber merch. Maybe. That's in the works. Give Cherry a chance to put that together. She's working on that currently. So all right. So yeah, so far it seems like Ted Daniel is just I mean, I'm not necessarily mad at Ted Daniel yet reading this article. So the filing, it appears the defendant is the sole source of information in the federal investigation surrounding this case, as the U.S. Attorney's Office never requested blah, 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 blah. All right. The filing talks about a private investigator named Stephen Scanlon. The defense says he was the first to come forward with allegations John O'Keefe was beaten to death and not struck by Reed's SUV. But according to the prosecution's filing in state police, Scanlon had no insider information. Scanlon said he only shared a theory based on his opinion and the media reports. Now, he states, he's very clear here. He says, but according to the prosecution's filing and the state police, who we believe to be corrupt, Scanlon had no insider information. Scanlon said he only shared a theory based on his opinion and media reports. Okay. So, but we already knew that, didn't we? We already knew that Scanlon was the one that came forward to either Jackson or Yannetti and shared this information. We know that that's what the case is. But and that's what spawned the theory. He has no proof of it. But when we look at all of the evidence in the case, again, it's not hard to believe. It's simply not hard to believe that this is the case. All of this is moot. Okay? I'm going to continue reading in a second, but all of this is fucking moot. Wow, Clubber, you're going nuts, buddy. All of this is fucking moot. The reason why I say that is because the investigation was done so horribly. And let's just forget for a second that we believe that it's nefarious and of a corrupt nature and with the motive to cover up and frame somebody, right? Let's just forget all that for a second. Take that out of it. You still cannot deny the fact, not the opinion, the fact that this investigation was done poorly, was executed poorly. The investigation was executed poorly. The investigation and the people responsible for conducting this investigation is what's costing John O'Keefe justice. There's no doubt in my mind about that. That's where I'm at. Even if Karen Reed is guilty, even if Karen Reed is guilty, it doesn't matter. because the purpose, the burden of proof and the sorry, I got distracted by chat there for a second. In the interest of justice, Karen Read is afforded rights. And if her rights are violated by people fabricating evidence in this investigation, or taking evidence and mishandling it, or not collecting evidence, or losing evidence, all of these things are absolutely applicable to this case. If the investigators charged with the responsibility of getting John O'Keefe justice did these things, are responsible for these things, these mishaps, then they cost John O'Keefe justice. If it is them who are charged with the responsibility of getting John O'Keefe justice. If they are charged with the responsibility of getting John O'Keefe justice, then if they went about it neglectfully or nefariously, it is them who cost John O'Keefe justice. There's no doubt in my mind about that. It doesn't matter. None of this shit matters. None of it matters. When this goes to trial, there is no fucking way that a jury is going to convict Karen Read. There is no way. Not a jury that's on the up and up. No way. You bring in neutral people and present the evidence of a shitty investigation that we have an abundance of, that the defense has an abundance of. You bring in a jury and present that to them, there is no way that they could rightfully convict Karen Read. It can't happen. So none of this shit fucking matters. And again, this is all coming from, this is an article based on the Commonwealth's opposition motion. That's all this is. So before you get your pitchforks and torches ready for Ted Daniel being the enemy because he's mainstream media and he's spreading misinformation, he's not spreading misinformation. He's merely writing an article based on what he read on the opposition motion filed by the prosecution. That's it. It's not a big deal. The DA's office also says they've definitively confirmed through two experts that a witness, how long to die in cold Google search occurred following the discovery of O'Keefe's body and not hours earlier, like the defense claims. And the DA's office accuses Read and her attorneys of conspiring with the blogger known as Turtle Boy to make personal attacks on witnesses and their family members. The defense has alleged that after Read dropped O'Keefe off at a party at a Canton home, O'Keefe was left for dead outside. The party guests beat him inside, and a dog bit him. I mean, I get it. The language here is very condescending. Ted Daniels being a little dick. I get it. He is. Sorry, Ted Daniel, but you're being a fucking little dick. Because I see what you're doing here and your little passive-aggressive ways of wording things. Minimizing that a dog bit him. No, a dog fucking attacked him. Clearly, a dog attacked John O'Keefe. Clearly, a dog attacked John O'Keefe. Clearly, a dog bit him. Like it was a little chihuahua that went, "Ow!" and bit him real quick. You know what I mean? Just to minimize it is a little passive-aggressive. Prosecutors say O'Keefe never entered the home and that the medical examiners have found lacerations found in his arms are not animal bites. So, Prosecutors in the February 15th filing also said there was no canine DNA found in swabs taken from O'Keefe's clothing. Again, Ted Daniel, I'm talking to you, buddy. The very clothing that was totally mishandled. The very clothing where there are actually articles missing. So I don't want to hear shit from the prosecution about his clothing when the clothing is there's nothing credible to come from any testing coming from the clothing when we see pictures of his clothing sitting all over the floor in a pile at a hospital with God knows what all over the fucking floor. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to hear that shit. I don't want to hear that shit. So there's nothing in his clothing that's going to get tested for that either comes back positive or negative that's going to be credible. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what comes back on the clothing. It doesn't matter. And the reason for that is because we saw pictures of this clothing piled up on the floor, not in bags. Articles of his clothing are missing. Where's his belt? Like, Ted Daniel, you've seen video, my man. You've seen video footage, or at least stills of video footage taken from the Waterfall Grill, right? He's clearly wearing a belt. Where's the belt? And puke in his underwear, right? And where's his hat? He was wearing a fucking hat. Thank you, Benjamin John. Where's his hat? I mean, come on, man. You're smarter than this. That's what bugs me. Is like everybody who's like, Karen Reed did it. I'm like, you're smarter than this. Every person that I see that talks about this, like Grant, bro, you're smarter than this. Plevin, you're smarter than this. You know what I mean? This woman, Krusty Panties, I guess is what they call her, right? I mean, I don't know. But, dude, she even seems smarter than this. Like, I just don't want to hear shit from people who are driven by their hatred for Turtle Boy. That's annoying to me. Because, you know, come to me from a place that is respectable. You know what I mean? Come to me from a place that matters. That I'm going to look at and go, okay, all right. Literally having no skin in the game whatsoever is makes you more credible, makes your argument more credible to me than you hating Turtle Boy. You know? That shit makes no sense to me. We hate Turtle Boy, so this is why Karen Reed's guilty. That's all I hear. That's all I hear. No matter what's being said, that's all I hear. We hate Turtle Boy, and this is why Karen Reed's guilty. Sounds like shit. You know what I mean? Sounds like shit. You sound like shit. Team Brittany gifted 5 memberships. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Let me see who got memberships. Janelle Webb, Marsha Leonard, Unit, Jack W, and Team Brittany was gifted a membership. Right on, man. That's awesome. And Team Brittany gifted membership. So, okay, I guess when you gift memberships, you're actually subject to getting a membership yourself. That's pretty cool. Now I know that. That's good to know. I always wondered that. So Team Brittany gifted 5 memberships, and she was one of the 5. Because it is a crapshoot. Like the person who gets memberships has no say over who gets the memberships. So it's kind of cool to know that Team Brittany was able to get a membership after gifting them. And she's extremely helpful to the channel. I'm really grateful for Team Brittany as a mod. And incredibly supportive as well. And she doesn't need to be. Just everything that she does already is more than enough. What's up, Dietz? Dietz is here. Let me continue with this. The filing sites. Okay, so prosecutors in the February 15th filing also said there was no canine DNA found in swabs taken from O'Keefe's clothing. Right. And we all know how credible anything taken from O'Keefe's clothing is. The filing cites evidence to a veterinary forensic laboratory that concluded there was no canine DNA associated with the swabs taken from the victim's clothing in the areas of the victim's injuries. Reed is scheduled to be back on court Monday as both sides look to delay her March trial date. And I got to tell you, now that's it. I'm not about to just throw stones at Ted Daniel for writing that article. I mean, he just wrote an article based on the filing that was put out there by the prosecution. So what? You know what I mean? There was nothing opinion based there. You know, there was a couple of little, I saw, like I said, you know, there's a little bit of language there that seems to minimize the defense's claims, but you know, I just didn't really see it that way. Overall, not enough for me to be like, fuck Ted Daniel, I hate you now. You know what I mean? There's not enough of that for me. So and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get into the Commonwealth's opposition to defendants' motion to dismiss indictments and memorandum in support thereof. So the defense obviously is going to file a motion to dismiss the entire case, to dismiss Karen Reed's charges, because the investigation in and of itself was conducted poorly, to say the least. Again, let's just take the whole Karen Reed's innocent and being framed out of it. Let's take all of that out of it. Fuck it. You know what I mean? Just for now. Just hypothetically here, right? Because hypothetically, that's what it is. We don't know. We don't know what happened. I don't know. I wasn't there. I don't fucking know what happened to John O'Keefe that night. I have no fucking idea what happened to John O'Keefe that night. I don't even speculate as to theories further than the one that I blasted all these disclaimers about as far as who had motive, Matt McCabe, right? So, I mean, that's it. That's the only theory that I ever came up with, and it's extremely loose, by the way. It's extremely loose. It's an extremely loose theory. So I have no theory as far as what happened to John O'Keefe that night. I have no theory. But let's just say we don't believe that Karen Reed is innocent. We don't believe that she's guilty either. I'm saying we don't believe that she's innocent, right? We don't believe she's being framed. Let's put it that way. We don't believe she's being framed. Let's just put it that way. Okay. But why has the Norfolk County DA's office been behaving the way that they have been? Because I'm going to want an explanation for that. Because it boils down to how you realistically can put it is how the defense's motion was that we read yesterday, where they worded it like, well, it's does the prosecution want justice for John O'Keefe, or do they want to win a case? That's the question. Do they want justice for John O'Keefe, or do they want to win a case? And ethically, they are bound to having to look for justice for the victim. Ethically, that's what they're supposed to do. Oh my God, Scott McGinnis, why did you do this to me? Why did you do this to everyone?
I think we got a super cat. Super cat. I think we got a super cat. Super cat. Super cat. Super cat. I think we got a super cat. I think we got a super cat. I think we got a super cat.
Scott, this shit fucking still makes me laugh. Scott McGinnis, Thank you so much, buddy, man. You're amazing. Tomorrow, the writers and Free Karen Reed gather to embrace the release of political prisoner Aidan Carney, aka Turtle Boy. D.A. Morrissey and his minions, in concert with Judge Canone, may attempt his further jailing. Sure, of course they'll attempt it. Of course they'll attempt it. But I can tell you this. I happen to know for a fact that Turtle Boy is 100% confident that he's walking out those doors tomorrow. 100% confident. I can tell you that for a fact. So I'm going to read this opposition. This isn't even what I thought. This is what they were writing about. They were talking about the 300-page craziness that took place. That's what Ted Daniel was doing. But this is much different. This is the opposition to the motion to dismiss. The 300-page document is the opposition to the motion of disqualifying Morrissey and the Norfolk County DA's office from the case. Now, I do find excuse me, sorry about that. I do I gotta find I gotta tell you guys, I would be remiss if I didn't tell you guys. Sorry, I got distracted by chat. At what point is it being harassment towards Turtle Boy? I mean, that's the thing, is you got to take the good with the bad. You know, you got to take the bad with the good. I mean, I get what you're saying. The point being that Turtle Boy is in jail for harassment. Where are the people? Why aren't other people locked up for their harassment towards Turtle Boy? I get it. But the point is that nobody should be in jail. That's the overall point. It doesn't help the reason that Turtle Boy is sacrificing what he's sacrificing now by sitting in jail. It doesn't help him if other people are arrested for the same thing. Turtle Boy is sitting in jail. Ironically, Turtle Boy is sitting in jail to prove the point that he's doing so unjustly, if that makes any sense. I mean, you know, so it's ugly and it sucks, you know, but he's making that sacrifice because, you know, so if we start locking up people for the same reasons, just because they disagree or they see things differently, if we start locking up people as retaliation and have the mindset of retaliation, if we lock up the same people, think about that. Think about the result of if we locked up Grant, you know, if we locked up Kate Peters, right? If we lock these people up, then Turtle Boy's sitting in jail for nothing. He's sitting in jail for nothing. It almost justifies putting it absolutely, actually it does. It justifies putting Turtle Boy in jail. It justifies it. So we don't want that Turtle Boy being in jail is justified. You see what I'm saying? So those people who I named should be kissing Turtle Boy's ass. They should be tongue fucking him because he is currently sitting in jail, literally as a protest to fight for their right to talk shit about him on social media. So it's encouraged. Every word, me personally, I can't speak for Turtle Boy. I'm speaking for myself. But everybody who does what they're doing, I encourage it. I love it. Every time you speak about me, every time you dox me, every time you lie about me, I don't care.
I don't care. I attract people who are interested in facts. I'm comfortable with that. I am secure with that. So I'm not worried about the effect of you lying about me is going to have. You don't have any credibility. So I'm not worried about it. I actually love that they have the freedom to do it. I encourage that they have the freedom to do it. Awesome. Turtle Boy is currently in jail, and him being in jail is an act of a fight for their right to talk shit about him on social media, on Twitter, on YouTube, wherever. It's amazing. It's pretty amazing. You know? So I encourage it. Knock yourself the fuck out. It's great. I love that you do that. And it's really ironic because they're screaming and yelling like Turtle Boy belongs in jail. It's like, okay. I mean, I don't think he belongs in jail, but he's sitting in jail right now. He could plead out. He could just be like, all right, you know. But guess what? Let's just say hypothetically, Turtle Boy pleads out. And then that paves the way for a precedence that it's okay to shut people the fuck up. And then somebody gets mad at Grant one day. Somebody gets mad at Grant one day and is able to lock up Grant for doing exactly what he's doing right now. And then guess what? Everyone who hates Turtle Boy is going to be saying the exact same things that we're saying for Turtle Boy. They're going to be saying for Grant. The very people who hate Turtle Boy so much are going to be saying the same things that we're saying for Turtle Boy. They're going to be saying for Grant when that happens. But see, the chances of that happening are minimized now. The chances of this happening to Grant are now minimized because Turtle Boy is currently sitting in jail and he's fighting these charges. And once he fights these charges, once Bradel convinces a judge or a jury that Turtle Boy's First Amendment rights were absolutely violated, and the law that was applied to violate his rights are unconstitutional. It is unconstitutional. It is unconstitutional. So once they prove this to a court of law, well, then that's going to apply change. Change that will ensure that Grant never goes to jail for talking shit. Amazing. All right. I'm just going to skip to the statement of the case. On February 2nd, 2022, the defendant was arraigned in Stoughton District Court and charged with manslaughter in violation of blah, 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 motor vehicle homicide by negligent operation in violation of blah, 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 and leaving the scene of personal injury, death in violation of blah, 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 blah. A Norfolk grand jury. Sorry, give me 1 second. I'm trying to make sure that. The fuck? Oh my God, that's really annoying. Why can't I? Oh, there it is. Okay. Okay. A Norfolk grand jury heard evidence in relation to this matter over the span of 14 days. The grand jury heard from 42 witnesses who all testified under oath and received 56 exhibits. The grand jury transcripts encompass a total of 1,445 pages. On June 9th, 2022, the defendant was indicted by a Norfolk grand jury for second-degree murder in violation of blah, 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 manslaughter while operating under the influence in violation, blah, 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 and leaving the scene of personal injury / death in violation of blah, 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 blah. The defendant was arraigned in Norfolk Superior Court on June 10th, 2022. On January 5th, 2024, the defendant filed a motion to dismiss the indictments pursuant to Commonwealth Odell, blah, 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 blah. The defendant does not challenge the sufficiency of the evidence to establish probable cause for the indictments, nor does the defendant challenge the sufficiency of the evidence that establish her identity as the perpetrator of the murder. Like that's supposed to matter because they don't challenge the identity of Karen Read. They don't challenge the defense isn't that this is supposed to hold water because the defense isn't going hey, it wasn't her. That's not her. She's not Karen Read. What? So the defense doesn't challenge. That's very, very funny to me. The sufficiency of evidence that establish her identity. Wow. And they don't establish they don't challenge the sufficiency of the evidence to establish probable cause for the indictments. I mean, I don't know about that. I don't know if that's true, considering that they're challenging all of the evidence. They're saying that the evidence was planted. They're saying that the evidence was either discarded or mishandled. I find that fascinating as well, that they're saying that they don't challenge the probable cause. Well, I mean, because they haven't officially filed anything that challenges the probable cause, no. But they're straight up, like, not only in court, but they're in the public. They're saying this is this entire investigation is a sham. That's what they're saying. That's what Yannetti and Jackson are saying for Karen Read. They're saying this whole thing is a fucking sham. Incredible. But they're saying that they're not challenging the sufficiency of the probable cause. Okay. Right. On January 5th, okay, I already read that. The statement of facts. On January 29th, 2022, at approximately 6:04 a.m., the Canton Police Department received a 911 call from a woman reporting a male party subsequently identified as the victim, John O'Keefe, found in the snow outside 34 Fairview Road. At the time, I was muted this whole fucking time. I am so sorry. You guys are amazing. Sorry, I couldn't see the chat. All right, I'm gonna have to read that bullshit all over again. Sorry about that, guys. Clever. Fuck, man. You're killing me, dude. On January 29th, 2022, at approximately 6:04 a.m., the Canton Police Department received a 911 call from a woman reporting a male party, subsequently identified as the victim, John O'Keefe, found in the snow outside 34 Fairview Road. And it's to be noted that the I'm glad I actually have to read this again. It should be noted that the person calling failed to identify the person as a police officer, but yet knew his age, which is fascinating to me, and said he was passed out. Identified as the victim, John O'Keefe, found in the snow outside 34 Fairview Road. At the time of the 911 call, there was an active blizzard occurring with heavy snow, and the temperature was in the teens. Officer Saraf and Mulaney of the Canton Police Department were dispatched along with Canton Fire and EMS. Officer Saraf was the first officer to arrive on Fairview Road and observed three females waving at him from the front yard area of the 34 Fairview Road. Officer Saraf's cruiser camera footage captured his arrival and depicts the weather and visibility conditions during the emergency response. In the video, Officer Saraf can be seen utilizing the spotlight attached to the driver's side of his cruiser as he attempts to locate the calling parties in the darkness and blizzard conditions. And if I have Officer Saraf on the stand and I'm Karen Reed's defense, if I'm Yannetti or Jackson and I have Officer Saraf on the stand, I'm going to ask him, when you get a call like this and you see a person, not even a police officer, but let's say a police officer, let's say he's not a police officer, a person laying in the yard who looks to be beaten, would you say that he looked to be beaten? Would you? I mean, he had black eyes, right? He had blood, right? So if you see somebody and you don't know the circumstances, are you not going to assume that he was attacked? Are you not going to make the assumption and act on the possibility or the likelihood that he was attacked, right? And then that person inevitably is going to answer yes, right? Officer Saraf is going to answer yes. And then I'm going to ask Saraf, I'm going to say, okay, now, is it standard procedure for you to ask to go inside the home and look around to make sure that everyone is okay? Well, maybe not. Not every time, blah, 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 blah. Okay, fair enough. Is it standard procedure to at least knock on the door and ask the person who might answer if everyone is okay and that you can take a look around? I wonder what Saraf would say. I wonder what Saraf would say. So, looking at the residence of 34 Fairview Road from the street, the three females were in the left corner of the property near the roadway in the area of the flagpole and fire hydrant. Officer Saraf observed the victim lying on the ground as two of the females were performing CPR on him. The three females were identified as the defendant, Jennifer McCabe, the defendant, Karen Reed, Jennifer McCabe, and Carrie Roberts. Officer Saraf observed the victim to be cold to the touch and not breathing. He returned to his cruiser to retrieve his AED device. However, at this time, Canton Fire and EMS arrived and took over resuscitative efforts. Paramedics transported Mr. O'Keefe to the Good Samaritan Medical Center in Brockton, where he was subsequently determined to be deceased by Justin Rice, where his clothes were laying all over the fucking floor. Canton Police Lieutenant Paul Gallagher, Detective Sergeant Michael Lank, and Michael Lank reference and educate yourselves on the Sandra Birchmore case. Michael Lank comes up there too. And Sergeant Sean Good arrived on scene shortly after the 911 call. Sergeant Good had contacted Detective Sergeant Lank directly at his home at approximately 6:08 a.m., minutes after the 911 call was received. Sergeant Lank arrived on Fairview Road at approximately 6:24 a.m. following Officer Sarath, Officer Mullaney, and Sergeant Good's arrivals. Mr. O'Keefe was already in the back of the ambulance when Sergeant Lank arrived and was transported to the hospital shortly after. While on Fairview Road, Sergeant Lank, accompanied by Lieutenant Gallagher, spoke briefly with Miss McCabe. Subsequently, at approximately 9 a.m., Sergeant Lank was contacted at the Canton Police Station by Miss McCabe and returned to the residence to speak with her further. While on Fairview Road, Detective Sergeant Lank attempted to speak with the defendant directly. However, she was reported to be overcome by emotion. Detective Sergeant Lank spoke with fellow Canton police officers who had the opportunity to speak to the defendant prior to his arrival on Fairview Road. Wait, let me read that again. Detective Sergeant Lank spoke with fellow Canton officers who had the opportunity to speak to the defendant prior to the... Okay, so Lank talked to cops who talked to Karen Reed already prior to his arrival. Sergeant Lank also spoke with the homeowners of 34 Fairview Road, Brian and Nicole Albert. Okay, that's interesting because I love that. People, I love that. You know why I love that? Do you guys know why I love that? Do you guys know? Can anybody guess why I fucking love that? That says that right there? Because it's a fucking lie. And if it's not a lie, it reflects another lie. Okay? And let me explain as to why. Give me 1 second. Here we go. Okay. I was looking in the wrong spot. Oh my God, there's so much shit here. It's hard to find what I'm looking for. And she switched it up too, so it's good. It's tough. So it doesn't matter. You can reference it yourself, but I happen to know for a fact that Nicole Albert, according to her interview, which was not signed by her, which was not recorded, apparently, Nicole Albert slept through the entire thing. They slept through everything. I'm talking until she slept through everything, until like she slept through EMS even being there and then leaving, right? She slept through the whole thing. She didn't even know everything was happening on her property, according to her statement, according to her interview, right? Yeah, they never came outside. So I mean, this is bullshit. This is pure bullshit. Sergeant Lank says that he spoke with Sergeant Lank, who is one of the responding officers in the Sandra Birchmore case, which has holes all over it too. Incredible. He says he spoke with the homeowners, but there's nothing in Nicole Albert's statement of this. It actually contradicts this. Following the victim's transport to the hospital, Canton Police Lieutenant Paul Gallagher, Sergeant Lank, and Sergeant Good searched for any physical evidence in the mounds of snow surrounding the immediate area where Mr. O'Keefe was located. Pieces of a broken cocktail-style glass and multiple... Now, I love this because, again, you have to question the validity of this. Because here, he specifically says that pieces of a broken cocktail glass. The glass was never tested, as I understand it. Did they ever test and determine that this was a cocktail glass? And where did they determine the cocktail glass came from? Where did the cocktail glass come from? Did it come from the bar that John O'Keefe was supposedly seen leaving with? Or did it come from inside the house that the defense believes he was inside of? So the cocktail glass doesn't prove anything. And the fact that they're saying that it was a cocktail glass without having tested it, but they're that confident that it's a cocktail glass. I mean, it could be glass from anything. I mean, glass is glass. How do they know that it was a cocktail, that it was a piece of a cocktail glass unless they tested it? But they didn't, did they? Did they? Is there a test that determines that I could look up right now that determines that that was a cocktail glass? Is there something that tells me that? Is there a report that tells me that that glass was tested and it was determined to be a cocktail glass? Because there was traces of alcohol on it. There was traces of what are consistent with vodka or whatever the fuck, or beer, whatever. Is there anything that tells me that that was actually a cocktail glass? So why are they stating this as fact, that it's a cocktail glass? Cocktail style glass, excuse me. Multiple patches of red that appeared to be blood were discovered. Pieces of a broken cocktail style glass and multiple patches of red that appeared to be blood were discovered and collected into a red solo cup provided by a neighbor. The Canton officers secured the glass as evidence and obtained 6 blood samples from the snow in a red solo cup obtained by a neighbor. Of course, they leave that out, by the way. I'm adding that in, but, you know, the prosecution conveniently leaves that out here. The Massachusetts State Police Detective Unit assigned to the Norfolk District Attorney's Office was notified at approximately 6:38 a.m., and members of the Massachusetts State Police responded directly to the Canton Police Department. Trooper Michael Proctor and Sergeant Yuri Buknik were among the troopers who responded and began interviewing witnesses. Interesting. Because we know that Jennifer McCabe, according to her phone records, called Proctor herself. After leaving the Canton Police Department, they first spoke with Ms. McCabe at her home. Ms. McCabe indicated that she and some friends were at the Waterfall Bar and Grill during the evening of January 28th. She arrived with her husband, Matthew, at approximately 9 p.m. At approximately 11 p.m., Mr. O'Keefe and the defendant arrived at the waterfall together. Ms. McCabe stated that Mr. O'Keefe and the defendant have been in a dating relationship for approximately 2 years, and that the defendant stayed at Mr. O'Keefe's house most nights. Ms. McCabe observed the defendant walk into the bar holding a glass cup from C.F. McCarthy's with a clear liquid inside that she believed was a vodka soda drink. the defendant had entered the waterfall with the glass inside her coat. Mr. O'Keefe and the defendant had been at C.F. McCarthy's, a bar across the street from the waterfall, prior to coming into the waterfall. Miss McCabe observed Mr. O'Keefe to be wearing a baseball hat that we still don't know where it is, jeans, and sneakers. He had a belt on those jeans, and we still don't know where that is. She stated that the defendant and the victim appeared to be in a good mood and did not observe any arguing between the two throughout the course of the evening. She further described the atmosphere within the bar as friendly, with no arguments amongst any of the patrons. The description of the group and the atmosphere within the bar and between the defendant and the victim was consistent among each of the witnesses present that were interviewed throughout the course of this investigation. As the bar began to close, everyone within the group was invited back to 34 Fairview Road, the residence of Miss McCabe's sister, Nicole Albert, and her husband, Brian. Miss McCabe observed the victim and the defendant leave the waterfall together. As Miss McCabe was arriving at the vehicle, she received a text message from Mr. O'Keefe asking where to at 12:14 a.m. Miss McCabe replied with the address of 34 Fairview Road at 12:18 a.m. Mr. O'Keefe called Miss McCabe to ask more specifically where the house was located on Fairview. Okay, I just thought of something. My mind went elsewhere as I was reading this, but I have to share it with you because I'll forget. So, Jennifer McCabe at 2:30 something a.m. allegedly Googles "house long to die in cold," right? Which is consistent with the timeline here. It's at least consistent with the timeline that the defense is trying to present, right? So they're saying that the prosecution is saying that it's because of a window that time 2:27. Thank you. That time is because of a window that was opened at that time. But okay, so if she opened this window at that time but didn't Google that, and that Google was from 6:30 something, right? So if that happened, what I want to know is, what did Jennifer McCabe Google at 2:27? Because she had to have Googled something, right? Why isn't anybody asking that question? What did Jennifer McCabe actually Google? Or yeah, what did she actually what did she Google at 2:27? So am I crazy for asking this question? I mean, if that's the prosecution's answer for why this Google search came up at that time, okay, basketball scores. Street Squirrel is saying, okay, so she did actually, so they are saying that she Googled something else, which was basketball scores, right? Okay. Well, you know what? To play devil's advocate, basketball scores is, I mean, they could have just been, she could have just been in the conversation with somebody in the house about okay, hold on. Dietz is saying she didn't Google the scores. The page populated when she closed out the House Long to Die in Cold page. That page populated when she closed out. Okay. It was the page behind her search, another open tab. That's what I thought. That's what I figured. So what did she actually Google? Why, if the explanation is that she had a page open, what did she Google? because it wasn't basketball scores. See what I'm saying? All right, let me get back to this. As Miss McCabe was arriving at her vehicle, she received a text message from Miss. Okay, where to? I already read that. Miss McCabe indicated to Mr. O'Keefe over the phone that the house was near his niece's friend's home, whose mother the victim used to date. While inside the residence, I mean, she knows. I mean, clearly Miss McCabe and John O'Keefe were close. They know plenty of each other. While inside the residence following her arrival there, Miss McCabe observed the black SUV consistent with the defendant's vehicle, a 2021 black Lexus SUV, arrive in the front of the residence. From her vantage point at the front door of the home, Miss McCabe texted Mr. O'Keefe at 12:31 a.m. stating hello, and again at 12:40 a.m., which is what, 9 minutes later, pull up behind me, referencing her vehicle's parking spot within the driveway to the home. Okay, so she saw him. She saw Karen's car get there at 12:31 a.m. where John texted her at 12:31 a.m. hello, and then again at 12:40 a.m. Nobody finds that weird? Miss McCabe texted Mr. O'Keefe at 12:31 a.m. stating hello, and again at 12:40 a.m. Pull up behind me. But she saw already, it says, Miss McCabe observed the black SUV consistent with the defendant's vehicle arrive in front of the residence from her vantage point at the front door of the home. And that's when she texted Mr. O'Keefe at 12:31 a.m. stating hello, and again at 12:40 a.m. And then says, pull up behind me. 9 minutes later. So there's a 9 minute window right there, right? There's a 9 minute fucking window between the time where she texted him. He didn't text her. She texted him hello, and then texted him again hello. Once at 12:31 and then again at 12:40. So there's a 9 minute window that, according to this, if I'm reading this correctly, because this could just be a poorly written fucking thing. So, but there's a 9 minute window where Jennifer McCabe is observing the black SUV sitting outside. Right? Sitting outside. 9 minutes. Where she knows that they're out there. The black SUV is already out there. And she's texting hello, and then waits 9 minutes and then texts again. Hello? The fuck? Are you coming in or what? And then Miss McCabe, okay, so referencing her vehicle's parking spot within the driveway of the home, located on the right side of the property. If looking at the residence from the street, Miss McCabe then observed the black SUV move from its initial place where it had stopped on the street near the driveway and proceed to the left side of the property. In that area where Mr. O'Keefe's body was discovered at 12:45 a.m. Was discovered at 12:45 a.m. Sorry, it wasn't discovered at 12:45 a.m. Sorry. At 12:45 a.m., Miss McCabe texted Mr. O'Keefe again, hello, and then observed the black SUV. So she's watching the black SUV sitting outside and moving, doing things. Drive away from the home. The black SUV didn't. So she even sees the. Okay, give me a fucking break. Who the fuck is not looking at Jen McCabe like she's a goddamn fucking liar? You're going to tell me that you observed, you're texting with the guy, watching him outside, and you're texting with him the whole goddamn time, and you see the car move from one spot to another, and you don't witness him hitting. You don't witness her hitting him with the vehicle. You witnessed everything else. You witnessed this car sitting in the driveway for 9 minutes, then you texted, and then you witnessed the car move from the spot and then onto the road next to the property. Right? But you didn't see her hit him with the vehicle. You didn't hear arguing. You're literally standing at the front door window and looking out. You're standing there and you're looking outside and you see the vehicle, but you don't hear any arguing and you don't see her hit him with the car. Right on, Paul. I mean, come the fuck on, dude. Nothing is consistent. The defense's motion to disqualify Michael Morrissey's DA's office is so valid because he's stating like they're only moving forward with this hoping for a win so that the investigation into the DA's office looks bad. And it makes sense because I can't imagine a DA's office moving forward with this. Like, I just don't see it. I just don't see a DA's office being like, okay, well, yep, we've got enough. Because I would imagine that if you're prosecuting a case, you're gonna use the method of process of elimination, right? And by doing so, you would have to act as a defense attorney. When they prep witnesses, every time I've seen that in a movie or on TV, when they prep a witness, like they're like, this is what you're going to expect from the defense, or this is what you're going to expect from the prosecution. Either one, right? You're going to expect this. I just watched a movie recently, the trial of the, I don't know, the fucking, who are the, I'm having a brain fart right now because I don't give a shit about politics, but it was a Netflix movie, whatever. It doesn't matter. But I just watched this movie and they were straight up like it was a true story. And they were like, all right, this is what the defense is going to do, or this is what the state's going to do once they put you on the stand. This is what they're going to do. You know what I mean? So the prosecution has to know that the defense is going to go, that they have to know that the defense is going to like poke holes in everything. They know that there's no way they can get a jury to fucking find Karen Read guilty. There's just no way they're going to be able to do that. Dude, that's insane to me that that they're even moving forward with this. This is crazy. I mean, you expect me to believe that Jen McCabe watched watched Karen Read's car pull up to the driveway and then sit there for 9 minutes, texting him like, yo, hello, what's up? Watched the car move from the spot it was in to the side road, to the road that's in front of the house, and then watched the car leave the property altogether, but never witnessed Karen Reed hit John O'Keefe with the car, never even heard an argument, never saw him get out of the car. There's nothing saying that he even got out of the vehicle. So Jennifer McCabe is the most credible witness that the prosecution has here. Jennifer McCabe is easily the most credible witness based on everything that she saw. But the fact that they're trying to say that she's credible and the reasons that they're saying she's credible are exactly the reasons why she's not credible. Because she saw all of this, but never saw John even get out of the car, much less get hit by Karen Reed. She saw them pull up and everything in between. She saw them pull up, she saw her leave and everything in between, but never saw him get hit. I call total bullshit on her story. That sounds to me like somebody who's like, I don't want to lie. That's what that sounds like. Somebody who doesn't want a perjury charge because she's saying, okay, she's saying, I saw this much, but I didn't see that. She wants to say, okay, yeah, I saw them pull up. I won't say that I saw her hit him because that's not the truth. I won't say that. But I'll say this much else. I saw them pull up and I saw her leave. Think about that shit. Jennifer McCabe is willing to say all of that, but not willing to say that she actually saw John O'Keefe get hit by Karen Reed's car. She's not even willing to say that she saw him get out of the vehicle. That's crazy to me. But she saw all of this other shit, and she's supposed to come off as a credible witness. And we're supposed to believe that she's being harassed, that Turtle Boy is justly in jail for harassing this woman simply by asking her the right questions. That Turtle Boy is somehow a villain because he asked this person whose story does not add up in the slightest bit. He asked this person the very questions that anybody would ask based on what we know. And now he's sitting in jail. Because he asked this woman questions. And somehow she's a victim. I'm supposed to feel sorry for her when she's making up, when she's saying things like this. Yeah, I saw the car pull up. I saw the car sit there for 9 minutes. I texted who I thought was inside the vehicle. And then I watched the car move from the spot that it was in to the side of the house. And then I watched that car drive away. Did you see her hit John O'Keefe? No. Did you even see John O'Keefe get out of the vehicle? No. But you saw all that other shit, but you didn't see that. Okay. And I'm supposed to feel sorry for this person. Fuck out of my face with that. Fuck out of my face with that bullshit. No, I don't feel sorry for Jennifer McCabe. Because that story does not add up. And I don't fucking believe Nicole Albert either. Because here it's stating that she spoke with the owners of the home. It states owners of the home, not owner, not Brian Albert. They specifically named Brian and Nicole Albert as people who Lank spoke to. Lank, who comes up in the Sandra Birchmore case. That's shady as fuck. If I'm a juror, there's no fucking way that I'm taking anything that the prosecution is saying as valid. I'm just not holding any validity to it. I'm not. I can't. I have too much common sense. Right. Like you didn't see this car fucking back up at 20 miles per hour. You saw the car move. You're telling me that you saw the car move, but you never saw this car haul ass at 20 something miles per hour in reverse and run over your friend who has play dates with your kids. You saw the car move, but you didn't see it haul ass at 20 something miles per hour. Give me a fucking break. You're a liar. Jennifer McCabe is a fucking liar. I don't give a fuck what you say. She's a fucking liar. Get real. Right. Yeah. And her statement also that she says that she saw the passenger door open, but nobody fucking came out. See, the thing is there's no dimension in existence. There's no dimension. There's no alternate universe, much less this one, where I'm going to believe that Jennifer McCabe saw the car, watched the car pull up until it pulled away and left the property altogether and didn't see John O'Keefe get hit by Karen Reed's vehicle. There's no fucking way. If John O'Keefe got hit by Karen Reed's vehicle, there's no fucking way that I'm going to believe that Jen McCabe didn't see it. Why wouldn't I believe that Jen McCabe witnessed the murder of John O'Keefe? Because either she witnessed it happen in front of the house or she witnessed it happen inside the house. There's no fucking universe that I'm going to not believe that Jennifer McCabe witnessed the death of John O'Keefe. Right. Great point. Jennifer McCabe saw the door open but didn't see John sitting in the front seat? Question mark? Agreed. Because you open that fucking door and guess what happens? Let's see in the chat. Anybody who owns a fucking vehicle, what inevitably happens when you open a door to your car? What happens? It's a very simple question. Any answer is perfectly fine. Lights come on. There you go. Look at that. Everybody, lights. Exactly. You saw the car. You're sitting in the front door. The car pulls up in front of you. Windshields are not tinted. So you see the passenger door open, but you don't see him inside the vehicle. The light comes on. It's illuminated. You can see inside the vehicle. If you're looking straight ahead at a vehicle, you're facing a vehicle's face to you. That vehicle, you're seeing inside the windshield that is not tinted. And the lights come on inside. Of course, you would see who's in the vehicle. I am personally convinced, that is my opinion, that Jennifer McCabe is a fucking liar. Simple. Simple. I'm not saying she's guilty of murder. I don't fucking know. Again, I don't know what happened inside 34 Fairview that night. I don't know. But I'm saying she's a fucking liar. Um, at approximately 4:53 a.m., Miss McCabe received a phone call from the victim's juvenile niece at the defendant's direction. Miss McCabe answered the call from the victim's niece, spoke to her briefly, and the niece then handed the phone to the defendant. The defendant sounded distraught over the phone, and the defendant decided to drive herself over to Miss McCabe's home. The defendant told Miss McCabe that she last remembered seeing the victim at the Waterfall Bar. Miss McCabe informed the defendant that she observed the defendant and the victim leave the bar together. The defendant informed Miss McCabe that she and the victim had gotten into an argument the last time she had seen him. Miss McCabe then placed several calls to the people that had been at the waterfall or lived close by, including Julie Albert, looking to see if Mr. O'Keefe had gone to their house and spent the night. Julie Albert indicated that she received a missed call from Miss McCabe at 4:55 a.m., noticing that missed when she awoke later that morning. The defendant arrived at Miss McCabe's home around 5:30 a.m. Shortly after the defendant arrived at Miss McCabe's home, Miss Carrie Roberts arrived there as she had also received phone calls from the defendant early in the morning looking for the victim. Miss McCabe drove the defendant's vehicle from her house back to Mr. O'Keefe's house as the defendant was too hysterical, and Miss Roberts followed along in her own vehicle. While driving to Mr. O'Keefe's house, the defendant stated to Miss McCabe, could I have hit him? Did I hit him? Miss McCabe stated that the defendant also told her about a cracked taillight on her vehicle. Once they arrived at the victim's home, the defendant had Miss McCabe look at the cracked taillight, which Miss McCabe described as the passenger side right rear taillight as cracked and missing pieces. The three women then proceeded into the home looking for the victim, and Miss McCabe spoke briefly with the victim's niece. Miss McCabe and the defendant then entered Miss Roberts' vehicle. Okay, so again, according to Jennifer McCabe, she says, "Hey, I wonder if I hit him. Did I hit my boyfriend with the car? I wonder, did I hit him?" But then shows Jennifer McCabe the well of the, not even the well, just the tail light. It's cracked and missing pieces. Now, again, I don't see how almost 40 pieces of taillight are going to be all over and found in 5 different undocumented searches around that property. Dietz, do you know when the taillight narrative entered the picture? It was after their first interviews at the Alberts homes. Jen McCabe calls them and says, "Oh, by the way, we remembered something." So that's your theory. Okay, I can't disagree with that. Then we hear about the taillight the first time after they were alone after the first interviews. Okay, so your theory is that that the taillight your theory is that the taillight narrative is why she calls back and says, "Oh, I remembered something." Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay, all right. Right. And that's the whole thing is the tail light. They're acting like the tail light is the smoking gun. You know what I mean? They're acting like the tail light is the smoking gun in this whole thing. But the way that the evidence in the tail light was collected is enough to dismiss the evidence. You can't enter it. BK, sir, thank you so much. There we go. Okay. I want to see who got gifted memberships. Okay. People are emailing me stuff too. So Kristen VK, sir, thank you, by the way. Kristen C, Sue 42, Locksmith John, V Louise Arthur, and Beth Amoroso. Welcome, guys. Somebody just emailed me something. Let me take a look at that real quick. I just want to see what was sent to me. There's a video. Yeah. So somebody just basically filmed themselves driving by 34 Fairview. Which is kind of fascinating because yeah, it's pretty fascinating. I don't know what the point of it is, but what it tells me is that there's no way that you could see here, take a look yourself. Hold on. Let's see if it'll play. Your browser is having trouble. This can happen. Oh, shit. It won't share the video. Hold on. Maybe. Oh, God. That's annoying. I don't know if I can show this. Yeah, no, it won't let me. Let me see if I can do this. Hold on. No. Shit. No. Yeah, it won't let me share it. Like I downloaded it twice. Yeah, it's saying that my browser is having it, but I don't want to use the browser to share it. Yeah, no, I can't. So basically, it's just a video of somebody driving by 34 Fairview, but the video is you know, it indicates, like, it gives you an idea of what it looks like driving by the home. And basically, there's just no fucking way that you wouldn't see a 6-foot man weighs 200 pounds laying in that, even if there's snow on the ground, and 2 inches tops. So there, you're not going to miss that. You're not going to miss that. There's no way you wouldn't see John O'Keefe laying in that yard. So hold on. Here we go. Ms. McCabe stated they turned into Fairview Road from Chapman Street and at that time it was snowing heavily with the wind blowing, creating poor visibility. Ms. McCabe stated that just prior to 34 Fairview, there was a cluster of trees, and immediately the defendant stated that she saw the victim. The statement initially confused Ms. McCabe and Ms. Roberts, as they were unable to see Mr. O'Keefe's body lying in the snow. Bullshit. Ms. McCabe stated that the defendant screamed to open the door and ran directly over to the body near the cluster of trees. I mean, how am I not supposed to think about that? Like, how am I not supposed to look at that as Carrie Roberts and Jen McCabe going, I don't see anything. No, I don't see nothing. You know what I mean? When it's right there, where Karen Reed is like, open the fucking, stop the car, open the door, let me out. I see him laying in the fucking yard. How am I not supposed to think that they're acting like they don't see him? What? Yeah, I don't see anything. You see anything? And there's no cluster of trees either, right, Diane? There's no cluster of trees. That's come on, dude. I'm telling you that I am absolutely of the position, of the opinion that Jennifer McCabe is a fucking liar. Ms. McCabe stated that the defendant screamed to open the door and ran directly over to the body near the cluster of trees and laid on top of him okay, no, never mind. So there is a cluster of trees. There there's bushes on the side of the house that separates the 34 Fairview Road from probably 32 Fairview, right? Whatever, or 36 Fairview. But there's definitely some bushes there that separates those properties. So, it's not that there's no cluster of trees. It's just worded poorly, but so Ms. McCabe stated that the defendant screamed to open the door and ran directly over to the body near the cluster of trees that laid on top of him for warmth and began CPR. Ms. McCabe stated that the victim was lying on his back, covered with approximately 6 inches of snow, with his phone later discovered on the ground. Come on, man. 6 inches of snow. Get the fuck out of my face with that. With his phone later discovered on the ground underneath him after he was removed by emergency medical personnel. I love how they put that there. They had to throw that in there. That his phone was later discovered. They went in the same fucking paragraph, in the same breath, basically here, going from Jennifer McCabe's statement to having to put in there, throwing that in there, that his phone was found later on underneath him. How did his phone get underneath him exactly, Dietz? How the fuck did his phone get underneath him? That's what I want to know. It's just so weird that they had to throw that in there. You know what I mean? The language in this, in the writing here is fascinating. So I'm going to read that one more time. Ms. McCabe stated that the victim was lying on his back, covered with approximately 6 inches of snow, wrong, with his phone later discovered on the ground underneath him. So did Jennifer McCabe state? That's what I want to know. Did Jennifer McCabe state that his phone was underneath him? Is that her statement? Because that's how it's worded. It's basically worded that Jennifer McCabe stated that his phone was underneath him, and it was later found. I'm going to read it one more time so you guys can see this, okay? See what I'm talking about. You got to use your eyes, people, okay? Pay attention. Miss McCabe stated that the victim was lying on his back, covered with approximately, not about, but approximately 6 inches of snow, with his phone later discovered on the ground underneath him. Miss McCabe stated, that's how that sentence starts. Miss McCabe stated that the victim was lying on his back covered with approximately 6 inches of snow with his phone later discovered on the ground underneath him after he was removed by emergency medical personnel. The defendant then yelled at Miss McCabe twice to Google, "How long do you have to be left outside to die from hypothermia?" or something to that effect. People, I mean, come the fuck on. So Miss McCabe made this observation, right? When EMS moved John O'Keefe, she was like, "Oh, by the way, his phone was underneath him. Just so you know, his phone was underneath him." And 6 inches of snow? 6 inches of snow, folks. I find that shit fascinating. 6 inches of snow, right? Okay. That he was basically buried. 6 inches is about what? Maybe my mic, right? It's about my mic, you know, from here to here, or from here to here, even. I mean, like, if I'm underneath that much, that layer, right? That layer of snow, there's no way you're going to see me. But I don't think that it snowed to the point of 6 inches that night. Yeah. I'm not totally mad at Ted Daniel, man. I'm really not. You guys are mad at Ted Daniel. I get it, but I'm not mad at him. I think he wrote an article based on what the prosecution's motion was. That's it. He's not supposed to give opinions. He's a legitimate news source. We don't want news to be opinionated. You want YouTubers to be opinionated. I'm opinionated for you. You know what I mean? Turtle Boy is opinionated for you. You know what I mean? That's a mainstream news source. You're not supposed to get opinions from mainstream media. So I think he just reported what was said. I'm not mad at Ted Daniel. I think that he will still report on Turtle Boy. I think that mainstream media actually appreciates Turtle Boy. Shit, I'll even go as far as to say that Fox 5 appreciates the fact that Turtle Boy is sitting in jail right now. Now I am going to wrap this up. Melanie Little is going to. I wasn't going to say anything, but I spoke to Turtle Boy last night. Turtle Boy called me. Fox 25. I don't know who 5 is. I don't know if it's Fox or whatever. Is it CBS or whatever? I don't know. But I spoke to Turtle Boy last night. He called me. And he's in good spirits. And there was the possibility that he was going to call into the show tonight. And of course, if he could, he would. Okay. All right. So somebody just told me to check my text. Hi, Will. Aiden says hello, but he can't call in as he doesn't want to risk something happening the night before release. But he wants you to read this message. Thank you to Will and all the Turtle writers out there that have had my back this whole time. I can't wait to see all of you tomorrow. I can't wait to be back on my show Saturday night doing what I do best. I love you all. There you go. So thanks, Turtle Boy, for sending me that message, or through your intermediary. I appreciate that. But yeah, there was the possibility. He didn't want me to announce it because he was going to see if he could or not. but he did have the intention of calling in tonight. But it was nice to talk to him last night. My experience of speaking with him last night was that he's totally. And I asked him directly. I actually asked him directly. I was like, how sure are you that you're getting out? Friday or yeah. And he was like, totally sure. He explained to me the circumstances, and it made perfect sense. So I'm pretty sure that we will be seeing Turtle Boy come out of those doors tomorrow, and I will be most likely streaming it. So I will most likely stream it. So if there's a hearing, then yeah. I think that Melanie Little is live now talking about this case. I'm interested in that. I have to go to the store. But and man, Clever is being so good, man. He's just laying here, just laying next to me, man. He's just being super chill. Thanks for being good, buddy. So yeah, so I Melanie Little is live, I think, and so go over and check her out because she's got great insight on this case. Yeah. So again, I talked to Turtle Boy last night. Sounds great. And yeah, he's grateful for all of the support. So I just wanted to let you guys know that. Yeah, you guys have a great night. I love you guys very much, and we will do this again very soon, my friends.